Hello, everyone. That seems like a really good place to stop. We'll go ahead and move forward. Welcome to Facebook Live. That music always gets a little bit tricky. Welcome. We are Facebook Live. My name is Carrie Fowler, and I am here with Parent and Family Services tonight, bringing you a very special edition of our Facebook Live. Typically, we only go about once a month, and I know that we were here last week too, but we have a really special announcement and some exciting information for everyone that we want to share. So, we are coming to you with some great campus partners. If this is your first time joining us, this is our helpline. These are our coffee chat times. Coffee chats are just virtual office hours. You can drop in and say hello and ask us questions. We're here for you. That's what Parents and Family Services is. We support families who are supporting NC State student success. So every month we come to you Facebook Live to give you the information that you need from either our office or campus partners. And so that's what we're going to do tonight. So without further ado, I'm just going to toss it right over and we're going to get started because we've got some really exciting announcements. I'm going to hand it on over to Jeff.
Thank you, Carrie, and thank you for Parent and Family Services for working with Campus Enterprises and Wolfpack Outfitters today. Today, we are going to be talking about the NC State Course Ready program. We're excited about launching Course Ready for the start of the spring semester. Course Ready will be a transition for how we've been providing course materials to our undergraduate students at NC State. So again, thank you for having us. I'll be joined today by some of my colleagues with Wolfpack Outfitters and Campus Enterprises. We've got Jennifer and Ellen here, and then we should have Anthony and Vanessa joining us shortly as well. So Course Ready, when we think about course material delivery, traditionally, if you think of your experience potentially, it was getting your book list, going to the bookstore, standing in line, looking to see if you could find that good, clean copy of a used book to save some money. If you were lucky, selling it back at the end of the semester to capture something back. We've seen a dramatic transition to using digital course materials. Most of our incoming students, their idea of a textbook is getting that ebook content on their iPad or on their Chromebook in school. That physical book is often something they haven't experienced during their high school years. And this will be a transition from expanding how we haven't had what we call our all-in course material program over the last 6 or 7 years. The three main pillars that we talk about for Course Ready, for course material delivery, is digital preferred, making sure that that ebook content or that courseware content is getting to students easy and in accessible format that they can access. Day one, making sure that your students have the course materials they need at the start of the semester. We've continued to see over the years that students are accessing course materials later and later in the semester. So having some challenges getting them content and a good start to their learning right on the front side of the semester. And then potentially the biggest change is the concept of flat rate. So when we think about tuition and fees at NC State and most other institutions, the institution has flattened that, and it's generally made the same price for that tuition, for those mandatory or miscellaneous fees for each student, regardless of their major. We're doing the same with course materials. We're aggregating the purchasing power of our undergraduate student body and going to be able to really put a flat, predictable price in place and make sure that your students can get their required course materials that their faculty members have requested. This isn't new. This is a program that similar programs have been in use at many of our peer schools within the UNC system. Potentially the best example that we have is App State University for our neighbors in Boone. And we're definitely thinking about them and the challenges with our neighbors in Western North Carolina. But from a course material delivery standpoint, App State has had a similar program in place for over 80 years. That was traditionally a physical book delivery program. It was a rental program where all students paid a flat rate. They got use of that book for the semester that they were in their class. They turned it back in at the end of the semester. Recently, App State's transitioned that to a digital first program, so the majority of content is available digitally through their learning management system. At App State, our undergraduate, peers there, over 98% continue to participate in that program, and they see a lot of value and continue to see that student success is being driven by having course materials at the start of the semester. If we expand beyond the UNC system, Many of our institutional peers have started to embrace these programs, including UC Davis and University of Arizona. UC Davis was one of the very first to roll a program like this out, and they termed theirs equitable access. So we're calling ours Course Ready. They call theirs equitable access, and you'll hear many different terms depending on their school, but we're definitely looking forward to sharing this more with you. We've got a brief video introduction that we're going to share now. This is really our student-facing video talking about some of the benefits. I'm going to mute myself. We'll play this and watch this for about the next minute and a half or so.
Get ready for a new way to access and purchase your course materials that's more efficient and affordable than ever before. Get ready for a new way to access and purchase your course materials that's more efficient and affordable than ever before. Say goodbye to the hassle of scouring the internet for the best price on textbooks, and no more worrying if they will be available before the first day of class. Introducing Course Ready. Course Ready provides undergraduate students with their required course materials on or before the first day of classes for a low flat rate per semester, regardless of major. Since this cost includes all required course materials, you'll know exactly how much to budget for textbooks. Course Ready not only improves affordability and accessibility, but also enhances convenience for you. Your digital course materials will be linked through Moodle, and you can access them through your laptop, tablet, or phone browser. So, you'll be course ready while you're on the go. Course Ready is sustainable and helps NC State reduce the environmental impact associated with traditional textbook printing and shipping. Here's how it works. Starting spring 2025, the Course Ready cost will be included on your student bill, with the ability to opt out if you like. The program is a digital-first program, so your textbooks will be linked through your Moodle account. If there are any physical books or materials required for your classes, you will receive an email letting you know that you have textbooks ready to pick up at Wolfpack Outfitters. We've already negotiated prices with publishers, saving you time and money. With Course Ready, we've got you covered. For more information, visit us at go.ncsu.edu/course-ready or email us at courseready@ncsu.edu.
Apologies for that technical difficulty on my part. I thought that jingle was so good that we should hear the start of that video twice. So when we think about some of the benefits and really the structure of the program, we talk about the flat rate. In our case, for our launch, we will split that flat rate depending on if your student's a full-time or a part-time student. So for full-time students, that's 12 credit hours or more for the spring semester. That will be a $279 price. And for our part-time students, which is 11 credit hours or less, that will be $179. In North Carolina, course materials, whether they're digital or print versions, are subject to sales tax. So that $279 with sales tax will come in just under $300. When we think about that day one or hassle-free access, we want to make sure that students have that required course material available on the first day of class. We're collecting course material requests from faculty members right now. They'll be providing those to us through the end of the month and even often up until the start of classes. We work with the faculty members to link that digital material, when it is digital, through their Moodle page that they'll launch for each section of their classes. And your students are very used to accessing Moodle and connecting to their course materials, whether that's traditional ebook content or courseware, things like WebAssign. Any print materials, where today we know that about 1 in 4 course materials that are submitted to us don't have a good digital alternative. So if there are print materials required, whether that's a course pack or a lab manual or a printed textbook, we'll make sure to provide that to your student. That will be a copy that your student will be able to keep at the end of the semester. One of the great things about the digital materials, they tend to be device agnostic. So your student can access the material, whether it's on their laptop, their tablet or iPad, or we even have students who are accessing course material content via their phone. One of the great benefits is just the convenience factor as well. Right now, students are required to do a lot of research to find which materials they need, where to find them, and how to access them. That often includes working directly with the publisher, and you may not be able to access your student financial aid to purchase that material if you've got to use a credit card or a debit card to purchase that at a publisher website. We'll aggregate the materials, deliver those to your students, and as long as the instructor has indicated that that's required, we're going to make sure that that is included for your student as part of the Course Ready program, as long as they maintain access to the program and choose not to opt out. Again, thinking about what's included, that traditional textbook content, whether it's print or ebook, the course packs that their faculty members may have created, oftentimes with course notes. We're doing more and more lab manuals. During COVID, many of those lab manuals transitioned to digital versions. We're going back to physical print versions so they can actively take notes right when they're in their labs. And then courseware. NC State is probably the largest user for a university of our size of WebAssign, which is a Cengage product. Many courseware items are designed to help students with their homework and feed information back into the faculty member's gradebook. So we're sure to include that courseware as well. And again, anytime we don't see a digital material in the digital preferred or digital first format, we're going to make sure that a print material is provided to your student. We think about how it works. We're doing the initial work to start with. So this is an automatic enrollment program. So any degree earning undergraduate student, whether that's a bachelor degree or a student in the two-year Ag Institute, they'll be automatically enrolled in Course Ready. What students will see is when student bills are issued for the spring semester, those are traditionally issued at the start of November, you'll see 2 line items on that, depending on if they're full-time or part-time at that period in time. There'll be the Course Ready charge for the materials itself, and then there'll be a sales tax line as well. One thing to note, this program is not an official fee. So this is a bookstore charge. This is a charge from Wolfpack Outfitters to provide course material delivery to your students. Because of that, federal rules mandate that students in this sort of program must be able to make a choice still and decide, do they want to opt out of the program and not participate? If so, we'll have an easy mechanism that will be within MyPack portal as well. So your students are accessing most of their course material and they're able to view their bill in MyPack portal as well. We'll have an easy opt-out button and we'll share more instructions as we get closer to that launch date. If your student decides they do want to opt out of the program, they'll be able to opt out up until the census date, which will be Friday, January 17th. That's the second Friday of classes. But also if they opt out earlier in the process, they will be able to opt back in also up until that census date. If they opt out, the charge will be removed and you'll see a credit on your student bill. If they opt back in, the charge will reappear. And then finally, making sure course material access is easy really leans into Moodle, or the Learning Management System. We're working closely with instructors and also with our partners in Delta, which is the Digital Education Learning and Technologies Applications team at NC State, to make sure that we can easily and seamlessly deliver the course materials through Moodle. If your students do have the print material, like we mentioned, they'll receive an email from Wolfpack Outfitters when those are available to pick up. We anticipate pickup will start on January 2nd when NC State returns from winter break. Some key dates to keep in mind. I mentioned that early November student bill date. That's when you'll first see the charge. Here we do indicate that the opt-out portal would open on December 2nd. We're working closely with the Student Information Systems team to bring that date back up earlier and more closely align with when that Course Ready charge lines up. Rather than working with our vendor like we were originally planning on, that opt-out mechanism and the opt-back-in mechanism, should they choose to later in the semester, will be embedded directly into the MyPack portal. So they'll see a seamless recording of that in near real time on their student bill as well. If that physical material is required, they'll receive that email and would be able to pick those up when we return for classes before the first day of class. So we'll be back on January 2nd. First day of class this year is very early on January 6th. Digital materials should be available in the Moodle pages for each individual course section at that time. And then finally, Another important date to circle on your calendar would be January 17th. That is the census date. When we hit midnight on the 17th at the end of the day or just before midnight, that's when the university will conduct their official census of classes. And again, that will be our cutoff for either opting out of the program, should a student choose not to participate, or opting back in if they do want to retain access. We have a number of ways that you can learn additional information and some opportunities to learn more. In Tally Student Union, we will be conducting tabling. We want to have conversations with your students about their course materials, how they're accessing it, and really answer any questions they may have. So we'll be launching those towards the end of October and in early November. They can also visit us anytime in Wolfpack Outfitters on the lower level in Tally Student Union. Please feel free and send any emails to us at CourseReady, all one word, at ncsu.edu. And then our QR code will also link you to our Go link, which is go.ncsu.edu/course-ready. And that will get you to our website, which does have additional information. You can rewatch the video that we shared previously in this presentation, and you'll also have an opportunity at that point to read some additional FAQ and additional information about the program. That is the end of our presentation portion, and I know that Monica is working to gather questions, and we are looking forward to answering all of the questions that we can. Carrie and Monica, would you like me to leave the screen up or go ahead and stop the sharing right now?
You can go ahead and leave this screen up. This is just our reminders and dates, and this is a really good place for anyone who's watching to just mark some things down while we take questions.
So the first question that we got is, who can participate in the program? What about undergrad students taking grad level classes?
That is a great question. So this is an undergraduate program to start out with. At NC State, we're considering undergraduates anyone who's either earning a bachelor's degree or earning an associate's degree. In this case, this is only for degree-seeking students. So any students who may be in a certificate program or are non-degree seeking would not automatically be included in the program, but can still purchase their materials on a course-by-course basis. For an undergraduate in a graduate program, we're still going to make sure that the undergraduate student does receive the required course materials for the grad program. So even though this is not focused on graduate students, we're going to make sure your undergrad has the required materials that they need.
And the next question is, will materials like WebAssign be included in this, or is it exclusively textbooks?
Absolutely. Thank you, Monica, and thank you for asking that great question. We want to make sure that any of those required materials are included. So whether it's WebAssign, McGraw-Hill Connect, we're seeing a growing use of PackBack, which is an AI-based learning tool. We're working closely with those vendors to make sure that they are included. As long as we get a course material request from a faculty member and they note it is required, we're going to do everything we can to make sure that those courseware pieces are included, especially because those are normally feeding back grading information on assignments, tests, and quizzes into the gradebook. So we don't want any student to be penalized by not having access to that courseware.
This parent is wondering, it says, in August, my son purchased a year-long access to engineering and math textbooks. How does that impact the course-ready materials?
So depending on the materials for that year-long access, and where we most often see that is with a product called Cengage Unlimited, where they either sell that on a semester by semester or year by year basis. For that, that may very well present a good opportunity to consider an opt-out for the first semester of the program. Because we are launching in the spring semester rather than the start of the academic year in the fall semester, if you've already purchased the required access or enough of the required access for your student, right out of the gate, CourseReady may not be the best fit. One of the great things is that our course material lookup tool will indicate all of the required course materials that are in CourseReady, and at the same time, it will show the individual a la carte course by course price. So you can do some easy price comparison to determine if Course Ready is still a good value or not.
And then how does a student opt out of the program? When is the deadline for this?
So the opt-out mechanism, as I mentioned, will live in their MyPack portal. The good thing is your students are accessing this all the time. There are many functions that they interface with on a daily basis in MyPack portal, so this will be a familiar interface. While we have the December 2nd date noted as the launch, I will anticipate that that will be a November launch for that opt-out mechanism. They will be able to access that up until that census date on Friday, January 17th.
And then what if a student has required print materials for this course? When and where can they print and pick up the materials?
100%. We are anticipating many required in print materials. On average, we may see that on average, every student will have at least one print material based on how we digest the book list for the requests that are provided. We will message your student, most likely via email, that they do have materials available to pick up. We'll indicate what those materials are, which course they're for, and when they're available. And that pickup will be at Wolfpack Outfitters in Tally Student Union on our lower level. We'll provide full instructions for that pickup. We do recognize that we do have some fully distance education students who are not local on campus, and we'll provide a convenient shipping option for those students as well.
And when the students get their books through the program, do they rent or do they own these textbooks?
That is a great question. Rental book programs add a whole nother level of complexity for us as far as trying to track down the return of those rental books and charging students who wouldn't return those. So in this case, we are going to provide that for the student to keep, and they can continue to use that as a reference or even recycle that depending on what the content is. So for print materials, those will be the students to keep as long as they participate in the program. If they do pick up a print material and then choose to opt out, there is an expectation that any print materials will be returned to the bookstore in new condition prior to the census date.
And the last question, which you kind of touched on with this response, but does the student maintain access for the materials beyond the semester in question? Are they downloadable if it is virtual and all?
Great question. Thank you so much. So for digital materials, the correct answer is it depends on what the material is. For most ebook content can be downloaded to your device for perpetual access. Traditionally, the access is set up where it is intended to be delivered for the semester in which it is used. So for ebook content, we always suggest that students download that and or link that to their VitalSource bookshelf. And we're working with VitalSource as our partner for digital material delivery. They have been our partner since the launch of the All-In program in 2017. So many students are familiar with this access. For the courseware, so think about the things like the WebAssign from the question earlier. Normally that content is only available during the semester when it is being connected to that specific grade book through Moodle.
Thank you so much, Jeff. I'm really excited that we're able to offer this to our families and to our students. This is such a wonderful, and it seems as a student, I certainly appreciate it too. So I am really excited that we are offering this. Thank you for being with us tonight. Also, thanks to those behind the scenes. We always have a team of people behind the scenes making sure that everything's working virtually the way that it should. It takes many magic hands. Thanks to everyone who asked questions. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, we do have some save the dates here. So mark your calendars. These are all of our kind of notable dates coming up. So tomorrow, October 9th, the class schedule for 2025 is going to be published. And so you'll want your students to just encourage them, nudge them to take a look, even if it isn't available for them to put anything in their shopping carts yet or register. It really is time to start thinking about those class schedules And then, of course, moving into materials and things like that. Next week is fall break. We hope that everyone has a wonderful fall break. We hope that, your students get a chance to relax. And if they're going home, that you all have some great time together. We will actually be back for one more Facebook Live in October. We have so many and so much information this month. But we will be back here at the end of the month on October 30th with another Facebook Live with one of our featured sponsors, PNC Bank, as well as some representatives from our scholarships and financial aid team. And then Thanksgiving break is November 27th through the 29th. So make sure that your students planning ahead for that. You should have received, hopefully, our conversation calendar last week. We'll be sending a newsletter coming up. So lots of great information coming your way. Jeff, if you want to go ahead and pop to the next slide. Oh, one more. There we go. Of course, as I mentioned in the beginning, we're here for you. So if you have any questions at any time, whether it's about Course Ready, whether it's about, just getting your student any additional support, or anything at all, just feel free to call our office. We've got our helpline, we've got our email address. You found us on Facebook already. We're also on X and Instagram, same social media handle, and you can always email us or check our website. So thank you all for being with us tonight. Again, thank you to everyone behind the scenes. Thank you, Jeff, for putting together this great information. The best thing about Facebook Live is that this resource lives right here on our website, or excuse me, on our Facebook page moving forward. So if you came into this late, or if you had to stop and leave early, you can save this, you can come back to it, and all the resources that have been discussed are going to live in that comment section. So go ahead, save this for yourself, come back, share it with your student, and just know that it's going to be here as a resource for you. So thank you all for joining us this evening. Thank you again to Jeff, and go Wolfpack.